Hello and welcome to another analysis behind the news. The media went into hyperdrive over the weekend concerning the latest ransomware attack. If you were listening, you might have been tempted to not even open up your computer. Yet, the US wasn't as affected as many foreign countries were. One of our co-workers familiar with the events offered a reason behind this. He told us this morning that Microsoft had released a patch for this particular security vulnerability 2 months ago, and many in the US had already updated their systems to guard against infection. Many in foreign countries either had not updated their software or were using pirated copies of the operating software that obviously would not give them access to manufacturer software updates. The New York Times confirms that China, India, and Russia were among the countries most affected, and that a 2016 study demonstrated that in China, the share of unlicensed software reached 70% in 2015, 64% in Russia, and 58% in India. This email worm gets into the system by unsuspecting users opening up spam and clicking on the link in the email, which then has the ability to infect the rest of the user's network, locking down individual computers. And where do you think this came from? Yahoo posted a news report from AFP which states, Brad Smith, Microsoft's president and chief legal officer, said in a blog post Sunday that the culprits used a code developed by the U.S. National Security Agency. It was leaked as part of a document dump, according to researchers at the Moscow-based computer security firm Kaspersky Lab. Smith warned governments against stockpiling such vulnerabilities and said instead they should report them to manufacturers, not sell, store, or exploit them, lest they fall into the wrong hands. An equivalent scenario with conventional weapons would be the U.S. military having some of its Tomahawk missiles stolen, Smith wrote. The governments of the world should treat this attack as a wake-up call. So, if we boil this down correctly, we'll tell you that the wake-up call should not be directed at governments, but at consumers. Why? Here you have the free market, as in Microsoft, already providing solutions to problems they know exist in their products. Responsible consumers and administrators applied the patch and know not to open up spam, which obviously greatly reduces the risk of infection. Then the NSA, the agency charged with surveilling electronic intelligence and protecting U.S. government communications and information system, gets hacked, which leads to the online dumping of the ransomware. So, due in part to the U.S. government, you have them helping to create the problem, which the media has helped to over-exaggerate. Already some in Congress are using this as an excuse to call upon their fellow legislators to move forward on cybersecurity legislation. So again, the government helps to create a problem or crisis and then is used to provide the solution. This allows for the unmitigated growth of federal government and along with it the tax dollars that it takes to sustain such an appetite for liberty-devouring destruction. You can bet that this will also be used as an excuse for a global entity to control the internet in the name of cybersecurity. And of course, we all know that this entity would be the United Nations. After all, the UN is the favorite sovereignty-robbing tool of the globalists. So let this not be a wake-up call for government, but a wake-up call for liberty-loving individuals around the globe. For we do not live in a global community. We live in the United States of America under the governing infrastructure of a republic, where the rights of the individual are supposed to be protected from the tyranny of the majority. Our federal government has limitations that are not being obeyed, and our Constitution has solutions to the biggest problems our nation faces. Yet, these solutions are not being followed. This, of course, is on purpose to help attain a global agenda that sees American liberty as a stumbling block for the betterment of a global community. And there is only one agenda that will stop the advance of the globalists and restore liberty under the principles as set forth by the Declaration of Independence and the guidelines of government under the limitations of the Constitution. That agenda is set forth by the John Birch Society. This 10-point plan of attack has recently been updated for members and supporters to follow. We follow up with specific action requests each month in the JBS Bulletin based on which of the permanent JBS Agenda items that have been chosen by JBS leadership to highlight for that month. If you're serious about protecting American independence and liberty, then you're highly encouraged to get a copy of the JBS Agenda. And to help understand why our agenda includes the projects that it does, watch Overview of America, which is our most popular DVD that has been viewed millions of times. It sets forth the truthful worldview of American liberty and why it must be protected. Head to shopjbs.org or follow the links in the product description. And be sure to like and share this video with family and friends. Sign up for our e-newsletters and subscribe to our social media channels. Until next time, we'll see you then.